Well, we're at the front of the boat, so... Insert King of the World joke here. Hello, Internet. Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magic Man, here once again from MMOBomb.com, bringing you another first look video, and this time it's for Rumbleverse, the over-the-top cartoonish brawler battle royale developed by Iron Studios and published by Epic Games. We're going to spend about 15 minutes or so in the game checking it out, giving you our first impressions so that you can decide if this battle royale is for you. Of course, if you like what we do here, you like these types of videos, our always online podcast each week, all the other stuff we put on MMOBomb.com and on YouTube, give us a like, click subscribe, throw a comment down there letting us know how you are feeling about Rumbleverse. It helps us out. And of course, tell a friend. It's easy, it's fast, it's cheap, and it's a great way to help support us. So, with that being said, let's get right to what the hell is Rumbleverse. Rumbleverse is a newly released, free-to-play, cartoonish, over-the-top battle royale where you'll be kicking, punching, throwing, and literally throwing off buildings, your foes, as you assert your dominance, trying to become the last person standing. Now, battle royale rules do apply here, shooting yourself into the arena, finding upgrades, finding items, finding abilities, and a ring is slowly closing in around you. So no need to dwell on those rules. They're the same as any other battle royale you've ever played. Now, this game is available on the PlayStation 4 and 5, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X, and of course on PC, but only through the Epic Games Store. As of this recording, it has officially launched. However, Season 1 of the Battle Pass will not start until next week, but you can already start gaining fame. We'll talk more about that later, and working your way up through the seasonal ranks. As far as queuing modes, you've got your solo queue, you've got a duos queue, and then you've got the playground. And that's kind of where we're going to start today, because honestly, this was not a great look for me. I did not like how Rumbleverse does its tutorial. Now, this may just be a personal flavor thing, and that's totally fine, but there is a lot going on in the UI, and you really have to dig out how this game works in the playground mode. So I highly suggest that you mosey on over to Playground first before you queue up for any brawling action. Eschewing a normal tutorial where you learn the mechanics and controls, Rumbleverse instead encourages you to go to Playground mode and explore a map that has various areas where you can equip items, equip abilities, and mess around with the controls of the character, whether that be WASD movement, using F to vault or climb up items, because this is a vertical-based battle royale. There is a lot of death from above moments in matches, and more importantly, exploring other points on the map that will give you these little monitors that you can interact with, and they give you a text dump on different abilities. So whether that be attacking, whether that be getting your superstar meter all the way up, how you'll use items, it's all done via text dump as you explore this playground mode. Now, luckily, in Playground, you can toggle combat on and off, so I suggest jumping in, turning the combat off by default while you explore the map and go read all of this. It's not exactly the most engaging or interactive tutorial. There are some little robots that you can fight around applicable tutorial points. But to me, this could have been done in a much, much better fashion. Something a little more interactive, maybe a demo game against bots, something you typically see in most battle royales. If you spend about 15-20 minutes in here and you do cycle through all the key points on the map, you will have a pretty firm understanding of the controls. But just to briefly touch on all the different things you see on your UI here, in the lower left corner, you do have 4 pockets. This is where you can pick up an item, whether that be a chicken wing that's going to restore health, whether that be an item, a bat you say you want to hold on to and use later. you can pick up items by interacting with them, and then by pressing 1, 2, 3, or 4, store those in the corresponding pocket, and then use that same number key to pull it out of your pocket and use it again later. In the bottom center of the screen, we see two primary meters, the green one being your health and the yellow one being your stamina. Now, stamina plays a huge part in this game. It is the deciding factor on almost everything you do. So whether you are sprinting, whether you're jumping, whether you're scaling up buildings slowly or doing leap scaling to get up and down buildings, it's going to cost stamina. If you run out of stamina, you are leaving yourself open because even some attacks are going to drain your stamina. All of these things drain stamina in different ways, too. Climbing a building uses less stamina than if you are vaulting your way up a building, but both will get you to the top of the building. So it's all very situational on how much stamina you want to use on what abilities, whether that be dodging, climbing, jumping, sprinting, whatever. Now, some of your actual combat move sets do depend not only on the amount of stamina you have, but also what you happen to be doing right before you use, say, left mouse for a primary attack. If you are sprinting when you do it, that left mouse click becomes a drop kick that will disarm your opponent. Where if you are standing still, that first left mouse click becomes a basic melee attack. And this is a game where it's important to understand what type of attack you are using. Because it's so melee focused, you are not going to be attacking at range very much besides maybe throwing a baseball bat at somebody that's a little bit away from you. You are going to want to understand what attacks take priority in what situations, what attacks are dodgeable, what attacks can be blocked, what a bailout is, how you can recover from certain attacks. These controls are not explained very well besides just reading them in that text tutorial in the playground. So I think it leaves a little bit to be desired because you are going to have to probably get pummeled in a match or two to really start to put it together. Attacks have this kind of rock, paper, scissors priority order where if two players collide performing an attack, it's going to look at what attack each of them did and give priority to the one that's higher on the list. If you both picked the same attack, you'll have a little clash where you kind of bounce back off of each other. And this is what you're going to need to understand to get the jump on your opponents. Give yourself that edge, knock them down, knock their items out of their hands, open them up for special attacks, whether you've learned them from books throughout searching the map, or whether you just want to pop your superstar meter and go ahead and unleash a super attack. Speaking of the superstar meter, that is the blue meter to the left of the health and stamina bar we have been talking about. That fills up through gameplay or through picking up stars on the actual map. Fill that bar, and you can go into superstar mode for a limited time. That's going to give you increased health regeneration, increased stamina regeneration, increased damage, some other benefits, and, of course, unlock your super attack, which is going to do a ton of damage if you can pull it off on an opponent. In the lower right-hand side of the UI, we have a little interesting display here. We kind of see a red, a green, and a yellow 000, and some tick mark boxes below them. Throughout your exploration of the map here in Rumbleverse, you will find buffs to your hit points, buffs to your damage, buffs to your stamina. Damage being red, health being green, stamina being yellow. However, these aren't unlimited, as those tick marks below those three indicators indicate how many of these potions you have consumed. Once that tick mark meter is full, you are done. You cannot consume any more of these, but you are free to mix and match them any way you want. So if you don't care about more health or more stamina, you could scrounge around the map looking for red damage up potions and drink nothing but damage up potions. Each time you consume one, giving you a buff to your overall damage output. A more balanced approach might be to equalize those. Gain some health by drinking a couple of greens, gain some stamina by drinking a couple of yellows, and gain some damage by drinking a couple of reds. Now, these are permanent buffs throughout the match. On the other side of things, you do have consumables that would go into your pockets, the ones we talked about in the lower left-hand side of the screen, whether that be stamina refills or health regeneration things like chicken. Matches themselves in Rumbleverse pretty much follow exactly the formula you would be expecting. You find yourself on a boat where you have a limited amount of time as it queues up the players for the Battle Royale to just explore, fight other opponents, pick up items, and experiment with different things, or get yourself a few abilities. Abilities are found in books. They are not tied to your specific character in some type of loadout before the match. No. In match, you will find books of upgrading rarity. You'll have greens and you'll have blues, you'll have purples, the whole, common, rare, epic that we're all used to. And reading those books will allow you to bind an ability to either your Q key or your E key. And you can swap those. So if you pick up 2 greens and you read the books and you bind those abilities to Q and E, but later you find a purple ability that you like better and is going to do more damage, you can rebind that to E, losing your green common ability and now gaining that purple epic ability. So there is a little bit of customization if there are particular moves that you like, in addition to the standard combat, which is primarily controlled by the left mouse button and the right mouse button for blocking, with a little bit of the center scroll wheel press being implemented in there for some other attacks. Q and E can allow you to customize a little bit, but you are at the mercy of finding the particular abilities, if there are particular abilities that you like, on a map during a match and getting them bound to Q and E. Aside from that, the match plays out in a predictable fashion. Explore, find items, get your upgrades, get your abilities. You do have quite a bit of verticality and quick traversal methods, whether that be climbing on the sides of buildings, jumping onto big cartoonish springs that will shoot you across the map or up into higher spaces. And this verticality does play into combat as well. Yes, you will run into somebody on the street and engage in a melee fight and see who wins, but you do have the ability to jump high from high above, landing on somebody, or grabbing them while you're on top of a building and performing some type of move to go ahead and throw yourselves both down at the ground, or just chuck them down at the ground. Now, while there is no fall damage, there is a penalty for falling from a great height and failing to land on something soft, or grabbing onto the side of a building or something you can climb on your way down. If you fall too far and you slam into the ground, you will lose a great portion of your stamina. While that regenerates, you are left vulnerable for that time while you recover from that fall and gain some of your stamina back. At timed intervals, of course, the ring does collapse. Now, one thing I will give Rumbleverse credit for, I hate its tutorial, but I actually really liked its gameplay after a few matches. Matches were very, very quick. Even the match I won and became, the victor royale in, it was a very quick match. It is not methodical and slower, something like a Fortnite or any of the popular gun-based battle royales. This is very, very quick. And that has an awful lot to do with, A, the ring closing a bit faster than most battle royales, and the map generally being somewhat smaller than you would think for more gunplay-based battle royales, where you do need enhanced and lengthened sight lines to make the gunplay a little more interesting. But by the nature of the game, you've got to get in up close and punch your way to success, so it does create this chaotic feel that I actually did quite enjoy. You might jump on somebody and have things go your way, just have 2 other players come in from the sides, and now things are going nuts, and your attacks could be damaging multiple foes at once. It is cartoony, it is over the top, it does take a little getting used to, and because it's so chaotic, it does at times feel a little unfair in the way things are going on and the way you might lose a match. But generally, I found myself enjoying the matches themselves. Taking a look at the cash shop and the way the game is monetized, it is 100% predictable here, folks. There are 2 different Founders Packs that you can buy that give you a number of cosmetics. They are not an upgrade from one to the other. If you want all the cosmetics offered in both Founders Packs, you'll have to buy both. I always hate when games do that, but, you know, pick one or don't pick any at all. If you're really somebody that wants all the cosmetics, yeah, it sucks. You're going to have to buy 2 of those. The cash shop does work as the same as Fortnite or Rocket League or any of these games where a battle pass is going to be your primary progression. There's a secondary progression where you are gaining fame by doing daily or weekly quests. That generates your overall seasonal rank. There is no like ranked and unranked matches here. Every play makes progression on this fame board, and there are rewards for achieving each fame level delivered via fan mail. So it's another one of those games where you're gaining fans as you play. In the cash shop itself, where you're buying brawler bills as the cash shop currency, there's no way to obtain those right now as of this video. Again, it just launched today, and Season 1 doesn't launch until next week. Besides spending cash to get them, presumably they will be in that cash shop currency will be in the battle pass in some way or form when the battle pass releases. But right now, you're only gaining fame from your daily quests. Weekly quests aren't available yet, so there's no way to obtain brawler bills besides spending cash. And it is going to be that wildly cosmetic game, whether that be emotes, actual gear that you can put on your character to customize the look and feel, whether that's body type, shirts, elbow pads, pants, hairstyles, whatever you can think of, it's going to be added at some point. You do also have additional customization for your title card, the kind of card that shows when you eliminate somebody from the match with your own title up there, your name, and perhaps a few different stats that you can track. A lot of these aren't available off the bat. They are going to be gained in the Battle Pass, but quite a number of these optional cosmetic items are also available just through natural progression of your fame level throughout the season too. So you'll be opening those up quite a bit as you play initially. In the shop itself, you can buy additional cosmetics that are on a rotating basis. They do this stupid thing, by the way, where the amount of brawler bills you buy never quite fits exactly. It's horribly manipulative. I hate this when games do this. But you'll find 2,000 brawler bills for this particular outfit that, look at, if you buy it all on this outfit for 2,000, you saved 4,600 brawler bills. Get the hell out of here. It's digital goods. Stop it. But even at 2,000, you're going to find yourself buying 2 of the smaller packs or 1 pack that gives you too many brawler bills and then makes the next purchase a little easier for you. I hate it. It's manipulative. They totally do it here, where you will end up with some leftover, making your next purchase easier because you can't just say, oh, that's $20, I'll buy it for $20. Nope, doesn't work that way. The conversion rates are a little off-center with the costs, and that's intentional. We see that all over the board in free-to-play. Rumbleverse, definitely guilty of it here too. As we get to the end here, though, it's weird. I hate the manipulation in the cash shop, but it's nothing unique to Rumbleverse, so, how much flack do you want to give them for it? They didn't create it. They're just, doing what they do in Fortnite and every other free-to-play game anymore, particularly ones that have that Battle Pass function. I didn't like the tutorial. Now, that's 2 knocks from me against the game. But at the end, I actually rather enjoyed Rumbleverse, and I know it's just another Battle Royale. It really doesn't do anything in the Battle Royale game space that's totally different, but its focus on being more melee, cartoonish, over the top, big-ass like wrestling moves, spiking people into the ground, and its fast-paced and vertical environments that do play into combat actually made the game pretty fun. This is one that I'm going to be keeping installed for a little while. I don't know how much season progression I would do on it, but I think it is certainly, in my book, one that's worth keeping here, booting up from time to time and playing with some friends. There's an addictive nature about it that will keep you firing through a few matches back to back, but it doesn't reinvent the Battle Royale or knock it on its head in such a way that I just say, hey, you absolutely have to try this. If you're watching this first look and you think that looks fun, then it's probably for you to at least give it a shot. crappy tutorial and manipulative monetization conversions aside, it's probably worth a look for you. If as soon as I said Battle Royale the first look, at the beginning of the first look, you rolled your eyes, then yeah, Rumbleverse isn't doing anything revolutionary enough for you, Mr. or Mrs. Bored at Battle Royales, to give it a whirl. I'm going to give it a little bit of a thumbs up for me. We're going to talk more about it this week on the Always Online podcast on Friday. Make sure you join us, twitch.tv/MMOBomb, 1 p.m. Friday, to hear Troy and I give some early opinions on it as well. If you've liked this video, click like, click subscribe, give us a little comment. Until next time, gang, stay safe, and we'll see you on the servers.